Hey everyone, Al and I wanted to have a short talk with y'all and then get you off into your Christmas Eve festivities, so this one won't be that long. A couple reminders and asks before we get to the show. Please track with us on all the socials. Subscribe to the Ministry of Freedom Show YouTube. Follow me on Insta at Real Jim Moats and be on the lookout for our new website. Spoiler alert, jimmoats.com. Should be live before the end of the year. We're very excited about it, so get ready to check that out. Now, pay attention. You're going to hear me say this a lot. If you had the ability to live the life that you desire on your own, wouldn't you already be living it? We all need community, encouragement, motivation, training, and fellowship to reach our potentials. We built a community called Building and Becoming that provides that and so much more. I've set it up so there is a 7-day free trial. You can jump on, watch all the videos, take all your notes, consume all the content you can in that free trial period if that's what you want to do. After that, if the group isn't helping you grow, you can leave anytime. I even set it up with no contracts. Why? Because I want to earn your attention, time, and financial investment every day. There's a link to the Building and Becoming group in the show notes and the YouTube bio. And you can text my cell if you want more info. So it's 402-250-7499. Text the word GROW, and I'm going to reach out to you. On to the show. Please enjoy episode 63 of the Ministry of Freedom Show and have a very Merry Christmas. Okay, Al, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
We're officially recording. So this is a few days before Christmas Eve, but this is the Christmas Eve episode.
Yes.
So we wanted to get together and give the audience a few nuggets, but get them out so they can enjoy their family time.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yep.
So that's what we're going to do today. Scripture reference.
Please.
Okay. This is referenced in the New Testament a couple times, but I pulled it from where it was first put in the Bible back in the book of Isaiah. So it reads, "For to us a child is born, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace." You've heard that.
Yeah.
We talk about that at church this time of year. The book of Luke references that because it's about Jesus being born.
Yep.
That's the reason for Christmas. Here's a cool thing about that. So Isaiah was a prophet. He wrote that scripture about Jesus over 700 years before Jesus was born.
Yeah, that's nuts.
He even goes on, the book of Isaiah is crazy, because Isaiah even goes on to not just prophesy about the birth of Jesus, goes on to prophesy about how Jesus will enter Jerusalem on Palm Sunday and the circumstances around his death and how he will be beaten and exactly what tools will be used to beat him and all of those things over 700 years before it happened.
Wow.
It's amazing to me. So yeah, that's the reason for the season, as they say, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this time of year, it can be kind of joyous. We're having a lot of fun. We got the Christmas tree and it's full of presents underneath and all that kind of stuff. But some of the notes that I took as I was putting together the show was I reminisced about some past Christmases that I've had, and I've had Christmases not great.
Yeah.
And I know, yeah, for sure. It can be a super lonely time and it can be a painful time. I've lived both, so I get that. I know a lot of people in the tribe are struggling. There's people that are listening to us right now that might be in their car that aren't really overjoyed, that aren't super excited about Christmas morning. Maybe they're dealing with, what are some things people are dealing with? Well, illness, diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
I'm praying for several people that have had some cancer diagnosis in the last couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
First Christmases after death of a loved one.
Yeah, I want to say inability, is that the right word, to provide at Christmas?
Oh, the inability to provide for your family how you want to. Yeah.
Kids have these lengthy Christmas letters that they send to Santa, and the only thing that you want to do as a parent is give your child everything plus some. And it's depressing when you can't do that. When you look at a tree, or when you look where there should be a tree and there's not, when you know that you want to provide this big Christmas meal and you can't because you don't have the funds. It's a really lonely holiday, and it's a really depressing holiday because I think it's over publicized in the media, and we've forgotten what it really is.
Yeah. So if you don't have the huge mansion decorated with all the lights that you can see from outer space,
Mm-hmm.
when you don't have the 12-foot Christmas tree and all the professionally looking wrapped presents and the nativity scene in your lawn.
Yep.
And it's just the perfectly clean white snow. I love how snow's never dirty in movies.
Nor walked on.
Yeah, it's not trampled on.
Yeah.
Cars aren't filthy. But when you're not living up to that ridiculous Hollywood ideal and standard, then you can start to feel less than. Comparison really comes into play this time of year.
Yeah.
Comparison, no good. I was thinking, what are some other things that people are going through? So, divorce.
Yeah.
That can be, especially if you're separated from children.
Yeah. And having to spend that holiday by yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. The holidays are a really, like you said, a joyous time, but it's a really sad time for a lot of people that have to do it alone.
Sure. It can be. So I wanted us to not come on here and just rah, Merry Christmas and our presents, and because we're at a great place.
Mm-hmm.
But we've also been at not a great place. And, we'll talk about that a little bit more. But the message that I wanted to give to people, I'm not trying to bum people out on Christmas Eve, but if you're in a great place, great. Try to encourage people that might not be, and be aware that there's some people that might not be. And the message that I know you and I have talked about, we want to give to people is that they're not alone.
Yeah, you don't need to suffer in silence. I think that there's a place for you. There's numbers that you can call. And then there's groups that you can join where you can be a part of people that unconditionally love.
Yeah, they can call my number.
Mm-hmm.
If there's nobody else, you got me.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody is listening to this and they think they have nobody else, they're wrong.
Right.
And I'll go out on a limb here. And so if you're lonely, if you are feeling alone, if you're desperate, my number's 402-250-7499. I've had the same cell number for 27 years plus. You can reach me, shoot me a text. I'm going to help.
Right.
Because you're not alone. And as long as you're listening to this, you're supporting what we do. You're part of our family and our tribe. You're not alone.
Right.
And I think it's important for you and I to make sure that we're expressing that. I know that's on your heart as we go into this season as well.
Right.
So when you talk about, we've had Christmases that aren't as great as this Christmas is, right? We've been to the valley of life. And it feels like that we can see the summit of life. Yeah, I feel that way. Like we're making the climb and I'm like, wow, I'm not in the valley anymore.
Yeah.
And over this last few years, I've been measuring each year when you get to this time. It's one of those places on the timeline where you kind of stop and look back and reflect. The New Year's coming, it's Christmas time.
What have I accomplished?
Yeah, and how do I feel? So as I did that last year, it was the end of the toughest year of my life.
Yeah, quite a long decades. And with an hard S.
Yeah. This 2023 was the toughest year I've lived in my then 52 years.
Yeah.
And when I got to Christmas last year, I still felt like I was in the valley, even though, I was starting to think, okay, there might be some hope here.
Yeah. Picking some of that sludge still off.
Yeah. But this year at Christmas time, for the first time in a long time, I just feel, wow, I really feel the presence of God. I think that we've drawn closer together as a family. And most importantly, I think the reason we've drawn closer as a family is because we've drawn closer to
he's
God.
At the helm of our relationship.
He's the center.
Yeah, at all things. I agree.
So that's been great. I was asked a lot over that, I call it the last year and a half or so, especially because
after you did the first book.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So when the first book came out, especially, what are you going to do? What's next? What are you going to? And I never really had an answer. And I felt really pressured to have an answer for people. I'm like, I don't know. I don't really need to know.
My back. I just wrote a book.
Right. Just,
let a guy live.
Yeah. I mean, my goodness. So it was always, what's next, Jim? What's next? What's next? And you know what else? For the first time in a long time, I know what's next. And you know what's next because we built it.
Does the audience know what's next?
I think the audience knows what's next.
Podcast?
So it is not. No, we kicked around doing a murder podcast. I just was against murder.
My idea has been vetoed.
It has.
But if you guys would like a separate podcast and for it to be murder, let us know. I will do it.
Yeah, I will not do that, but that's a great idea. So the what's next is our community.
Yes.
And we're going to keep talking about the community, and because I want everyone to join with this. We built this primarily for me for selfish reasons because I needed a community.
You needed to lead and you needed
Yeah.
to be led.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the two things that feed me.
Yeah.
I need to be able to lead other people, and not from a place of arrogance or superiority, but I have so much in me that I have to pour into other people. I believed I've been blessed in order to be a blessing to other people, and I don't come alive if I'm not doing that. And I also need the reciprocating end of that, as you mentioned. I need to be led as well.
Yeah. Kind of a little bit off subject, but still where we're going. When I was filling out all those transcend documents and they're like, well, what's your goal and what do you want to do? And I was like, I feel like I've kind of hit a wall. Like I left this job a couple of years ago and it was really fast and we were doing a lot of stuff. And now, I reached a point in my life where I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't impacting anybody. And now that we've got this coaching program going, like we're talking to a bunch of people, we're making different things, like we're bringing other people on, people are wanting her. And now it's like, okay, now my wall is getting taken down. I don't feel like I've just I was like Woody or Roadrunner or whatever that thing's name is. And I'm going again. And that's a good feeling for people who don't want to be stagnant.
Yeah. And that's a good word too, because a lot of us are feeling stuck. A lot of people feel really, really stuck, even quote unquote successful people, because we were both successful people.
Yeah.
I felt stuck then.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to tell you, I never made more money in my life than I did in 2022. And I was at the end of that year, I was looking back and like, I'm stuck. Well, I'm going nowhere. Even though where I'm standing feels good, it still doesn't fulfill my need to advance.
No, and you're right. You had made the most money, like your net worth and stuff was still growing.
Yeah.
But you hated where you were at.
Yeah.
And not just for the things outside of business, but because the people that you were trying to grow and develop, it just wasn't working for you anymore. Like you had poured all you could into that relationship, and that reciprocating relationship that you like to talk about, it just wasn't coming back. And that's really frustrating. And at that point, your cup is completely empty. So you have no more to give. And their cup has overflowed and they're not giving any of that back to you, which is frustrating.
It is. And that's why we developed Building and Becoming. So we developed a group on an app called School, SKOOL. It's going to be all over my socials. It currently is. It's the next thing. When people say, what's next? This is the next thing. And it's the next thing because it's interesting to get to a place in life where you feel that you've began the culmination of your life's work and experiences. So it's not just life's work, but it's also the experiences. The pain, the struggles, the victories, the addictions, the overcoming, relationships, the griefs, all of those things go into now. I can grab all of this stuff and I've got this huge toolbox that I'm ready to open and share with people.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited about it, as are you. We're building it together. It's a work in progress. It's what we do all day, every day.
Yeah, it's constantly evolving.
Yeah, and it's really challenging and it's really fun. And I'm excited about it. And we'll continue to unpack that. The reason we talk about the summit of life is obsessed is a strong word, but I'm obsessed with helping people and watching them climb the mountain to the summit of their life. Not from a comparison perspective, but what's their summit? And I'm obsessed with helping them get there. And that's the calling. It's a difference between a purpose. There's a difference between a calling and a purpose and a job and a mission and all those words that people use. This is a calling. I believe God called me to use everything that He's blessed me with in order to help other people reach their summit and lead the lives that they desire to live, whatever that looks like. So because it's a calling, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to shut up about it. I'm not a high pressure type of guy, but I want everybody that listens to this involved in the group. Yep. That's my ultimate goal. If 1,000 people are hearing this broadcast in the next month, I want 1,000 people going on and at least signing up for the 7-day free trial.
Yeah, test you.
Yeah, test me. I love that. And we're going to talk about that too. I want to be tested and I want to be held accountable. Yeah. That's how I get better.
If you hate it and think this is a crock, then tell us.
Exactly right.
Tell me why. What is it that's wrong with this? Oh, no.
Yeah, we've got our usual visitor. I think Rascal's about to jump up here and say, hello. There she is. So
She's a little whiny today.
She is a little whiny today. Al, I don't want to put you on the spot, and this is something that is reserved for our building becoming family, but
Yeah.
you put out this morning in our group what you've coined the Disciplined January challenge. So we want to be disciplined in January. Would you unpack that, or is it too secret?
No, I just pulled it up on my phone though, so I could get it.
So you're not messing it up.
Correct.
Okay, go. I'd love to hear it. I'd love for the audience to hear it.
So this morning I'm laying in bed before I have to get up and deal with the cats that are banging on the door. And most people, I think, kick it into high gear right before the new year. They're like, okay, starting, January 1, I'm going to quit smoking and I'm going to develop this really cool workout plan and I'm going to eat right. And, their Pinterest boards are all crazy and they buy all this stuff at the grocery store that molds in a few days. But what I thought was the Disciplined January. So that's a whole month of consecutive training or, whatever your 3 goals might be. And then for you then with those 3 goals for you to consistently track them. Because if you're not tracking those goals every single day, there's nothing to hold you accountable. You're going to fall off. So if your goal, like for me, one of the things that I've really dove in for the last 5 weeks is my training and my meals. So I get up and I log them and I am taking pictures and I'm making sure that I'm seeing noticeable progress into making sure that I'm attaining or achieving those goals. And so that's something that I thought was going to be really cool because with that New Year's resolution, so many people fall off so quickly in that first week because they have nothing to work towards. They're like, well, nothing's keeping me here. What does it matter?
Yeah.
But if they are like, okay, for the entire month of January, I'm going to do these 3 things, and it's just 3, then once they make it to the end of that month, why not go for 1 more month?
So the 3 things, you haven't set those for people.
No, they get to choose their own because everyone's stuff is completely different. Maybe one person is really into social media and they're going to choose to post every day, or maybe someone wants to read more. Then they're going to read 3 pages and maybe their water consumption is really bad and they drink more Mountain Dew than they do water. They're going to drink more water. I want it to be more geared towards what that person wants to do to better themselves in the month of January. It doesn't even need to be lifting weights. It could be journaling, drinking more water. I don't know, whatever they
could be going to church on Sunday.
Whatever they need to do.
Going for some walks.
Yeah. I mean, totally. Even if you want to take out the physical aspect out of it, they don't ever want to lift a weight or anything. That's fine. Color for the entire month of January. Whatever is going to bring you peace. Yeah. Do it. And then just log it. On January 1, I did all of my 3 things. January 2, I did all of my 3 things. Yeah. And not only are you going to feel proud when you look at that, you're going to feel so much encouraged to start February.
Yeah, that's great. Last year, the long-term audience will maybe remember that I did something called Def Reset. So Jocko Willink, huge fan, he does this. He's doing it this January too. Where it's 30 days of there's this whole list of things you have to do.
Yeah, sugar and
it's a lot,
yeah.
Right? With workouts and nutrition and it's a mini 75
That's
hard.
What I was gonna ask. Is it 2 workouts or is it just
one? It's just one, but it's a lot, and it was a lot for me. So for people that are coming off the couch, it's like, oh my goodness, this Def Resets quite a bit. But if you're interested, you can go to Jocko stuff. You can Google Jocko and go find the Def Reset. DEF stands for Discipline Equals Freedom. That's what Def Reset stands for. I don't know if I ever told you that.
Well, I'm not surprised.
So that's what that stands for. So there's all kinds of cool challenges and things that people can do in January, but ultimately it's going to start with a decision.
Yep.
And no one is more fired up. A person is never more fired up than they are on January 1st.
Yeah, because they're like, by this time next year, I'm going to look like this in a swimsuit. And a lot of it, though, I think if people took, when setting a goal or a New Year's resolution or whatever word you want to use, if they didn't make it physical, I think they wouldn't fall off so quickly.
I agree with that.
Like if you're severely overweight and you're like, I'm going to do this so I can be a size 5 this summer, that stuff is taken away from you too quickly, I think.
And it's because that they are goal oriented rather than process oriented.
Yeah.
So I don't want people to focus on, well, what's one of your things that you're going to do for Allie's challenge for January? Lose 10 pounds? No. That is too goal oriented. What we want to do is we want people to be process oriented. So rather than say, I'm going to lose 10 pounds,
Hold on.
you have to grab the cat. Rather than people saying, I want to lose 10 pounds, what we want them to do instead is what are some processes that you can do to achieve that? So it might be download the MyFitnessPal app and keep my calories at 1,300. Okay, that's something tangible that you can do and check off every single day. Now, the result of that, as you string some days of that together, are going to be you have a really high probability of reaching that goal. But we don't want people to have just write down the goal. We want to write down the process that's going to lead to the goal.
How are you going to get there? You're just too easily going to be.
Because you can't lose 10 pounds today, but what you can do is download an app and track your calories and commit to staying at 1,300.
Or because there's times, even with me and these 5 weeks, I've lost 2 pounds, 3 pounds in 1 week. And then there's been a week where I've lost, half a pound or a pound. And if I don't have the mindset of what I'm trying to get done, where I'm trying to put on more muscle, I'm trying to get stronger, I like the way that my skin looks. It's so much more than just losing the weight. Mm-hmm. I would get really discouraged and fall off. I wouldn't have the self-restriction, I don't know if that's the right word, to not go up and eat those white chocolate covered Oreos.
It's discipline.
Yeah. But I care more about the outcome I care more
process oriented
than the outcome.
Yeah. And you are chasing what we call non-scale victories.
Yeah, but the scale's still really
The scale matters.
Yeah.
But your goal can't be, I'm going to lose 3 pounds this week. The goal is going to be, I'm going to meal prep and stick to my disciplined water and calorie intake. The result will then naturally be.
Yeah, it'll follow.
For instance, we live in the Omaha, Nebraska metro. So this reference will ring to the people that are local. If I say, what's your goal? And you say, get to Missouri Valley, Iowa. Okay, but you can't do that in 5 minutes. What you can do, though, is get on I-29 North. You can do that immediately.
Right.
You're on your way because you're on the path, and eventually you're going to run into Mo Valley.
Right.
In other words, the process leads to the goal.
Right.
Focus on the route. Focus on the path. The path is something that the podcast audience and the Building and Becoming family are going to hear a lot from me as we get into this new year. The path, because it's important. The scripture reference for the Building and Becoming folks this morning was talking about the path.
Right.
So it's important. I think that's a great word. I want to finish with a few thoughts, unless you have something else that you want to interject before I get to my closing message. Forgive me for doing a little reading, but I want to make sure that I get this out in the right way.
Yeah.
If you aren't feeling Christmas morning excitement when you start your day, I'm speaking to the audience, not you particularly, you need me.
Mm-hmm.
You need our community. I want you feeling the gratitude and excitement like a kid sprinting down those stairs on Christmas morning. Think of that. That's just so excited. That's what I want me, you, and everybody that I have the privilege of my voice reaching. I want everybody feeling that excitement, not just on Christmas morning, I'm talking about for life. I want you so excited, you can't freaking wait to attack your day.
Mm-hmm.
To have your time with God, to crush that workout. I get to go to the gym. Awesome. I'm so excited. I'm going to drive to the gym like a crazy person because I'm like a kid running down the steps at Christmas.
Right.
To crush your workout, to prepare the healthy meals, to make the next impactful contact in your life, to earn that next dollar, to be that excited and passionate as a kid running down the steps on Christmas morning.
Right.
I want people to have a life of purpose, a life of meaning, a life of legacy, and a lifestyle that's continually building up your future self. We all care about our future self, right? It's what we all talk about. Other words, what are we doing? Why are you lifting weights?
Yeah.
Why, if it's not for your future self, you're not doing all this for December 24th, Allie,
Right.
because she's gone when you go to bed tonight. You're doing this for December 25th and 26th and 27th and 2029, Allie.
Right.
That's why we do these things, because we're building our future selves.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I think we lose sight of that. What I've just tried to express to the audience, that's the standard of life that I want them to desire. That's the standard of life they should desire. Many think that life isn't possible, or it's just not for them.
They're undeserving.
Yeah, I felt that way,
Mhm.
right? Well, I don't deserve that kind of family, that kind of life. And that's not for me. That's for the special people. I don't deserve to look in the mirror and see somebody that's fit and strong and put together, because I just poisoned my body for too long and I'm older now. And I said, that's such BS. I'm living proof it's BS. So are you.
Yeah.
I'm here to tell people that think that way that they're wrong. I know that you can have a life like this. How do I know? Because I'm living proof that a dude can go from suicidal to excited for life.
Right.
I've been both.
Right.
A person can go from hopelessly addicted to free from those compulsions and addictions. I've lived it. You can go from a less than loving and ideal marriage to being blessed with a loving family that gives, and equally as important, and I think we forget, receives love from you.
Right.
You can go from that. You can go from a career, I don't care what your income is, you can go from a career or a job that doesn't really have a purpose to a fulfilling life mission. You deserve it. The audience deserves it. If you're hearing my voice, you deserve it. I'm living it.
Right.
Along with our building and becoming group, they're living it too. They're beginning to live it. And we as a group are going to help anyone that wants to come on board get there. What I want people to do is, I gave my cell number earlier. I'm going to give it again. It's Christmas Eve. Take a second and text the word GROW to my cell phone. It's 402-250-7499. Text the word GROW. I'm going to reach out to you. I'm not going to call you 30 times and try to sell you a bunch of stuff. And hey, I've got 2 books for sale. Go to Amazon and that'd be cool. Go buy all the stuff and follow the show and do all that. And all that stuff's great. And I'd appreciate it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you a few questions. One of those is going to be, if you could have achieved living the life you desire on your own, why aren't you living it?
Yep.
If you can get all this done on your own, why are you listening to podcasts? Why are you getting fed? Why are you picking up a book once in a while? Why are you thinking of attending a seminar? You need a group.
Mm-hmm.
We're that group. And if it's not our group, after talking to me, go find another group. But quit doing this thing alone.
Right.
In 2025, there's no reason to be isolated, and we need training that's outside of just the 4 or 5 people that are in our office. We need a group of different people that have a common goal to have a better life. We've built that. We've built an infrastructure that is going to change lives.
Yeah.
So I just think it's super important. One last piece of advice that I have, and I'm giving this advice to me. This isn't me telling other people how to live. When I give advice, it's me using the microphone as a soundboard right back into my own heart and soul. Keep negative thoughts out of your mind and negative words out of your mouth.
Yeah.
Think and speak life-giving, encouraging things. Make a point to lift up others.
Yep.
Smile. Be the freaking light in what can be a pretty darn dark world.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The world needs light. Become somebody that can provide some. Right?
Yeah.
I think that's important. In the introduction that you've already heard to this show, if you've made it to this point, you hear me talking a little bit about the Building and Becoming group. I'm very passionate about it. Allie's very passionate about it. I want to hear from you. We've created a risk-free, foolproof way for you to test it out. And somebody can jump on, sign up in 3 minutes. It costs you no money for the first week, and there's a ton of good content on there, and it's growing all the time. You can go on there today for free. You can watch everything we've put up there. Take notes, learn, rewatch it, whatever you need to do. Be entertained, be educated, laugh, smile, cry, whatever. You can consume all of this stuff, and if you don't want to do anything more, you can bail.
Yeah, on the 7th day.
It costs you nothing. We have a Zoom call every Tuesday that's really fun and informative. I'm really enjoying those. We have different Zooms. We did a Bible study fellowship Zoom last week. This Sunday afternoon at 3:00, we have one that's geared towards fitness. A lot of people are going to be on that asking questions about how to get started, or even if you're a little bit advanced, offer some advice if you're not there to receive. But I want people to be part of that.
Yeah.
So if you're hearing this on Christmas Eve, we have a lot of good stuff coming for the rest of the year and for the new year. But it's important to get connected, and we're proud of what we've created. And I will ask people to make an investment of time and a small financial investment, because where your money goes, your heart follows.
Yeah, and we hear that a lot.
And because it's true, isn't it?
Yep.
It's very true. So this is a great time of year, and you and God are the reasons why it's a great time of year in our life.
Yeah.
This family and God and thinking of Jesus a lot at this time of year is it's pulled me from the valley, approaching the summit of life again. And I cannot take those blessings for granted, and I cannot just stand on the summit with just my family, because I'm going to do everything I can to pull people up that mountain.
Yeah, it's a good. Oh, shoot. You asked me if I had something else to say, and then I have one more thing.
Go,
You
go.
did such a great job closing us out, and I'm going to ruin it.
No, not at all. It's not ruined.
So, 3 Sundays ago, Pastor Micah was talking about what, maybe you're not connected with God, and this, I cannot stop telling everybody about this because it really shook me. Maybe you're not hearing the Holy Spirit, or maybe you're a little bit more agitated than normal, or you're not sleeping super well. I mean, this is kind of what I'm all hearing out of his message. It's because there's something that you're doing that's shutting you off from that. There's something that you're watching. There's something that you're listening to. It's the company that you're keeping that's really disconnecting you from God. And that really sank with me. And I'm like, that makes so much sense. And so within these last couple of weeks, the only thing that I've filled my cup with is Christian music. I try to really, all seriousness, limit the amount of murder podcasts that I listen to, because it's super toxic and I can fall down a rabbit hole. And I journal at night, and I really thank God for all the blessings. And I ask him to keep, rascals up there, keep my dad safe and protect Jim and give us and protect Arlie while she's away, and thank him so much for the blessings, because that's the biggest thing if he chooses to give this to us, and he allows us to continue to walk on this earth every day. And I just want him to know that I don't take that for granted. And because I've started doing that every single day, I wake up and I am so much more happier. I feel like I sleep so much better. And right now, Arlie's away on a cruise, and I have a lot of anxiety about her being gone, but I know that God is taking care of her, and I'm just giving all of those worries up to him, because left to me on my own, I have no control, and I have to remember that I have no control. So that's one thing that's really helped me, is filling my cup up with positive things and reminding myself daily who has my back, and it's him. And I would just really encourage you guys to listen to what this message was, and to know that nobody's alone, and that you have one strong man with you, and that's God. And then you have a bunch of other people and communities like ours, Building and Becoming, where you can join an awesome program of people that will love and encourage you, and we can fight these battles together every day.
Wow. That's amazing. And I'll finish with just 3 things. I love you. I appreciate all of you, and I'm here for you. Thank you, Jesus,
Thank you, Jesus.
and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.